Hi, everybody. My name is Rachel Lewis, and I am glad to introduce to you Appalachian Shape Note Singing. Today, we're going to be having a lot of fun learning about the history of Appalachian Shape Note Singing. And then each of my subsequent videos will have different exercises, and you can really go to any of the different videos that you want at any time. So, we're going to just dig in with some Appalachian Shape Note Singing history today. For one, the history of Appalachia is very, very rich. The early origin of shape note singing can be traced back to the year 1000 AD with the work of Guido de Arezzo. Jean Jacques Rousseau and John Kerwin also worked with using syllables to sing the notes of the major scale. It would have sounded like this. 200 years before shape notes originated, solfege, or do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te's, and do's, were included in the ninth edition of the Bay Psalm Book and an introduction to the singing of psalm tunes by Reverend John Tufts. The ninth edition of the Bay Psalm Book was printed with the initials of the four note syllables fa, sol, la, mi underneath the staff. So, right off, we have shape notes being very, very old. Right from the beginning of this country, shape notes were part of what our musical background looks like. Shape notes originated in print in the early 19th century with the publication of one of the first tune books called The Easy Instructor. Another shape note book called The Music Primer was printed in 1803 by Andrew Law. Even though Law takes credit for the shape notes, Little and Smith assert that the shapes were actually invented in 1790 by John Conley. Shape notes died out in the northeastern part of the U.S. after what was known as the Better Music Movement by Lowell Mason. And so some of the shape note singing was still just right in this area of Appalachia. The Every Good Boy Does Fine and Reading on the Staff sort of took over that up north. In the South, we have a tradition called singing schools, and it was one of early America's most important musical institutions. And it was basically a brief course in sight reading and choral singing taught through solfege to people from church. And they basically wanted very fluent sight readers. A lot of the churches didn't have pianos, so they really needed someone to teach them music just by using their ear and their voice. Right? And these schools arose from British antecedents around 1700 as a part of an effort to reform congregational singing in the colonial churches. Again, many of these churches didn't have instruments and they only had their voices. And this shape note singing was a way to learn new songs and to learn the harmony for those songs. And they go back to about 1710. They were actually mentioned in the diary of William Byrd II of Virginia. And then the shape note singing school traditions sort of spread out from there. And a lot of times these schools were special because they were an opportunity for people to socialize. It would be like a big festival, a picnic. People would come, they'd bring their dogs, their kids, their chickens, and they would have a whole day of just singing. And then a lot of times the people would actually pay the shape note singing teacher with a chicken or a blueberry pie. So there was a lot of trade and barter that was associated with the first singing schools. In the 20th century, singing schools have mostly declined, and some have still survived. They seldom last more than 2 weeks of evening classes, and some are just as short as a week. Okay. And most contemporary schools really are in three different categories. They are either tune book schools, denominational schools, or shape note singing schools. There's really two kinds of shape note singing. The fa sol la method is a four note method which uses fa, sol, la, and mi. And eventually that method sort of died out, and the seven note method, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, took over. Okay. So the seven note method is the method that we're going to be using for all of our shape note videos in this series. Shape note singing is based on a major scale, and this scale is based on 8 steps and forms the basis for all music theory. So let's just try and sing up and down the scale together, starting with numbers first. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's come back down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very nicely done. Okay, another way that you can do that same scale is with what you call solfege. So let's try that. And these solfege are coming from Italian. 1, 2, ready, go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. The first note of the scale is called your tonic. It's your home base. It's where you're always going to want to try and get back to the tonic. Now, when you do shapes, every single one of those scale notes is replaced by an actual shape. Okay, do is a triangle, moon is a ray, and sometimes, depending on the different kind of hymn book that you're using, the shape might look a little different, might turn a little different. But these are the most standard ones that I've been able to find. Mi is a diamond, fa is a right triangle, sol is a circle, la is a square, T is usually a downward facing triangle or sometimes like a play button, and then do is an upward triangle. John Kerwin made hand signs for every single one of these notes. So let's try those hand signs together. So do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Let's come back down. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Very nice, everybody. Okay, so our first section of pattern work this week will be the last part of this video. And on these patterns, what I'm going to do is sing them, and then you're going to sing and copy that back. Are you ready? Okay, so I'm going to sing them and play them and hand sign them, and you're going to copy back. Do, 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 do. Do, do, re. Re, re, mi, re. Do, re, mi. Re, re, do. Do, do, re, mi. Mi, re, do. Do, mi, re. Re, mi, do, do, do. Mi, do, do. Re, do, mi. Mi, mi, re, mi. Re, mi, do. All right, so you notice that there's really no rhythms marked here yet. It's just reading the shape and learning to tell the difference between the triangle, the moon, and the diamond. All right. The next set of activities, what we're going to work on, is hearing the shape. So you can pause the video and repeat the last section. You basically want to memorize and echo those many, many times. But on this section of the video, I'm going to play one of these patterns. I'm going to wait. You try and figure out which pattern I played, 1 through 13. And then after a few seconds, I'll play it again and sing the solfege. You can try and figure if you're right. Are you ready? Okay, so here goes. 1, 2, ready, listen. I'm going to do that one more time. You're probably easily able to pick out that that is number 1. Do, 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 do. All right, next problem. I'm going to play it one more time. One more time. Have you ever noticed music teachers say one more time a whole lot of times? Last time. That was number 11. Mi, mi, re, mi. Next problem. Listen again. And that was number 8. Do, mi, re. Next problem. You sing back, re, re, do. You would be right. Last problem today. That was mi, re, do. If you're a music teacher and want to use this resource in your classroom and move at your own pace, you can find this entire PowerPoint series on Teachers Pay Teachers. Just look for Easy to Plan. It's called Appalachian Shape Note Singing. And that way you can move at your own pace with your students. And I highly recommend that. All right, the last part of today's lesson is we're just practicing reading the shapes without the words written. Okay, so we're going to be looking at reading the shapes. We're going to do each problem 2 times. So we'll get all the way to 13. 1, 2, ready, go. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, do, re. Just follow that mouse. Do, do, re. Re, re, mi, re. Re, re, mi, re. Do, re, mi. Do, re, mi. Re, re, do. Re, re, do. Do, do, re, mi. Do, do, re, mi. Mi, re, do. Mi, re, do. Do, mi, re. Do, mi, re. Mi, do, do. Mi, do, do. Re, do, mi. Re, do, mi. Re, mi, do, do, do. Re, mi, do, do, do. Mi, re, mi. Mi, re, mi. Re, mi, do. Re, mi, do. Well, everybody, thank you for watching today. Next week, we're going to get into patterns using sol and la. For now, I hope you have a lovely day. And thanks for tuning in to Shape Note Reading. Bye.